So I think I mentioned in a video a couple weeks ago, that icebreaker video where I was kind of getting back into making videos after the crazy summer, that I had mentioned that the end of summer was so crazy busy that I just hadn't had a chance to go to yard sales or anything like that. The season is winding down. There's definitely a season here. Even when the weather is still okay for a little while, it's just like people are done. Like the yard sales are few and far between. So I'm just going to hit a couple today and then probably go to a couple thrift stores. I just thought I'd take you along in case I find anything interesting. I pulled up to the first one. It's an estate sale and they said part 2. And I haven't really been keeping up, but then I pulled up and I'm like, oh, I was here before. So it'll be either quick or maybe they've pulled some new stuff out. We'll see. So I will report back. Okay, so that was fun. They did put out some new stuff. I'll put up a little video here of this really awesome rattan furniture set that was there last time. And it was just kind of fun to look at. It was like priced really high. So they had like some really good stuff in there, but they knew like their antiques and stuff were priced high. But I managed to do what Mrs. Pish Posh always does, is just find, I just grabbed little 25-cent dollar things and I'll show you what I got. So a while back, probably a couple of years, I did a video about vintage garbage cans. Isn't that super cute? It's just plastic. Let's see. Some kind of like Tesco or I don't know. I have to look at it better. Now is not the time. My eyesight is not that great, but the little tulip kind of thing looking, and it just needs cleaning up, and then we'll see what it's worth. I don't know if it's worth much, but it's made in the USA. As always, if I find any comps, I will pop them up on the screen as we go. Okay. All right. So another plastic item. I got this little soap dish. Again, just vintage plastic. It's one of those things that we just usually pick them up. People like to buy them, especially on Etsy. Or at least they used to, so we'll see. I found this really awesome little purse, wallet type thing. It looks like a wallet. It's got these like rhinestones and such. And then you open it and it's kind of a bigger like pouch kind of deal. And then it does have a name that I'll have to make out later. Christine Godby, something like that. Anyway, like I said, I need to zoom when I'm not talking on the camera because I can't see a thing. And there's like a little pouch. So anyway, I'll look that up and see if that's anything. So this is Editing Shannon, just popping in here just to talk a little bit more about this little pouch wallet type thing. I was totally wrong about what it says on here. It helps when you like finally zoom in or use your glasses or something like that. But anyway, what it actually says is Crestline grab bag. So isn't that cute? It's a grab bag. And so there are some on eBay. There was only one sold in the last 90 days. It was embroidered and it had sold for like $12. Another fun thing I did find on eBay were ads for these from back in the 50s. And so I'll put up an ad right here. It's super cute. But anyway, I just love learning about little things like that. And I don't worry too much about comps. I mean, if I only got $12, that's fine. I think she charged me $1 for it at the most. I don't worry too much about comps on eBay because I know I also have Etsy. I even have Poshmark. You know, sometimes you can get something a little bit higher on there as well. And the one they had was embroidered. The one that sold was embroidered. I didn't really see many others that were like rhinestones and things. So it's a little fancier. Maybe coming up this winter, someone will need that. So just wanted to share that bit of info. And vintage clothespins, Penleys. I just thought these were interesting. New in the box, and then they just look a little different, so I didn't look these up either. They were 50 cents. I just thought they were kind of interesting. Cuteness. It's just one salt shaker or something like that, and so it was just the one, but as you can see, it was 25 cents. That might just be a keeper for my little shelf. And then I picked these up. These are bread pans by Ovenex. And they are like Starburst. That's what they're called. It's like a starburst pattern, and they were only 50 cents a piece. And two of them are in a little rougher shape, but then the bottom one is in like really good shape. So I'll throw some comps up there. They're a little bit bigger than a regular bread pan, so I'll have to double check measurements and make sure I'm comping correctly. Again, popping in, I must have not been like actually recording on my phone because there's a clip missing that I do remember recording. And I think all I said in there was that the next sale that I was headed to was advertised as a men's sale, but they were advertising some new with tag clothing and things like that. So I was gonna go check it out. Somehow I pictured that being much bigger than it was, and so I didn't get anything there. There was some men's clothes, but there's nothing really super exciting. And they didn't have anything priced. I don't know. I just wasn't in the mood. If there was something I really wanted, I would have asked. But anyway, I guess it'll just be thrift stores unless I see a sign for another yard sale along the way. So this is my clearance store, the bins. I call it the bins, even though it's not connected to Goodwill at all. Anyway, the clearance store, on Fridays, it's half off. And so that means there's a lot of people here. Parking lot is pretty full. So it's not my favorite thing to do, to fight people. But anyway, I seem to find plenty of stuff when I just kind of do my thing. But anyway, maybe I'll find some deals. We'll see. I always feel like there's more stuff at the beginning of the week. And then, like, I don't know. It just seems like there's less stuff. And so I don't know if people just buy a lot on Fridays. And by the time, if I do come on a Friday, it's in the afternoon and stuff is just like gone. But I kind of like my Mondays and Tuesdays. I like the afternoons. I don't really want to line up when it opens. Like I've heard from other resellers that, you know, there's a line first thing when they open. I don't know. It's not my scene. How do you guys feel about it? Anyway, I did look up my garbage can. So that particular style, the tulip one, there's some solds for different colors like pink and yellow and things like that, that are in like the $20 to $25 range. Some a little less, some a little bit more. So the color is a little bit different than what shows in solds. So I'll see if there's any available and what they have it priced at. But for $1, I might get $25 for it. So not a crazy home run, but kind of a fun find. Anyway, okay, so let me run in there and see what I can grab. Okay, so I'm gonna have to possibly rethink the whole not shopping at the bins on Fridays, or it was just like a good week, or like I said earlier, maybe coming earlier in the day on half off day is a better deal. I had to just kind of, there were a lot of people. I just had to kind of put my head down and ignore that fact. And a few times a new thing of clothing would come out, so a lot of people would disappear from the hard goods. I mostly got shoes. I found some designer shoes that I'll have to determine whether they're real or not. And then, so I think what I'm going to do is when I get home, I'll spread out what I found and just show you easier. I found some flatware that was really good, and it was definitely worth stopping. But now I am hungry and thirsty. I have to get something, and then I will hit a few more stops. So here's the box of stuff I got at the bins for $10. As you can see, kind of the size of the box. And I'll just pull some stuff out. So here's a pair of Rebecca Minkoff platform sandals. That might actually end up being pretty good. I have to do some research on that. They're dusty. And then here's another pair of sandals, and look at the brand. So I have no, they say made in Italy. They're also dusty. I don't know much about authenticating stuff like this, or if I have to bother, if I just go for it. They're kind of a basic sandal, so I will start by making sure I can find another pair just like them. And then I was like, check this out, just a pair of Danskos. Now Danskos don't do like as well as they used to back in the day. These would be $40, $50. Now if I get 25 or 30, I'll be happy. But for half price day at the thrift, they were in pretty good condition. And I'll twist them and all that kind of stuff, because they do, some pairs can dry rot. Here's that brand I was just talking about in my What Sold video, Spring Step. Those red boots. So anyway, these might just be like $25, $30 or something like that as well. I gotta get the rubber bands off of all of these. These I just picked up. I've sold Dr. Scholl's before. I just thought someone might like the fake snake skin or whatever that is. And Dr. Scholl's, those original exercise sandals are actually what sell the best. But again, probably $20, $25 for those. And then it wouldn't be a good trip to the bins without a good Y2K Route 66 chunky shoe find. I love that. Anyway. Okay, keeping going. Some transfers for like sewing or embroidery. I got some mousse. Anyway, if I pay hardly anything for some bottles of mousse, I will take that. Oh, here's a pair of Nike SB, so Nike skateboarding, Zoom Air, Stefan Janoski. Anyway, these are probably close to my son's size, so we're gonna see if he wants those first before I try selling them. I did get a pattern, a little costume pattern. Then I got another pattern for polar fleece. Then let's see, a couple mugs. Here's a Otagiri Japan mug. There was a matching one of a little of a man, but it was chipped, so I just grabbed this one. And then this one is so funny. It's a cow. Okay, and it is Chaleur. So I didn't even look this one up. It was with, this is kind of funny, it was with other cow collectible things. And I kind of had learned that lesson one time, that when people have big collections like that, you might not want to buy all the different cow things that they have. But they also collect from all different makers and things. So their other cow stuff might not be super valuable, but they could have something random like this in their cow collection, like gifts from people. People find out you collect something, right? So one time I was at a yard sale. It feels weird to talk to you when you're just looking at the inside of a cardboard box. But anyway, I was at a yard sale. They had a bunch of cow stuff, and I found a Taylor and Ing cow, one of those French language mugs or something, or maybe it was horses they collected, and I found a horse one. So sometimes, you know, you just see those big collections of things and you might like roll your eyes and be like, oh, whatever, cheesy. But look, take a second look, because there might be something valuable that they've collected along the way. Then I gotta flip it back. And I got these plates, these cute little plates, but look, they're Bauer pottery, Los Angeles and California pottery. There's 3 of them, 3 different colors. I didn't check these. I just grabbed them. We'll see how they do. And then a little utensil. You guys remind me what that's for. I used to know. But anyway, it's made in Taiwan, so I grabbed it. And then check this out. A whole set of flatware. And I have talked about this pattern before, or this style before. It says the pattern name right on it. It's called Danica. And does it say right under there? It should. Stainless by MSI Japan, which is like Merchandise Service Incorporated or something like that. Danica is just one of those bread and butter patterns that I've sold a bunch of times, especially on Etsy. So there was a few other random pieces I picked up throughout the store, kind of like a piece of Twin Star or some other atomic type stuff. But I was happy to see those pieces of Danica. So we'll see how they do, even if it's just a quick, you know, bunch of bread and butter that'll probably move better on Etsy than they will on eBay. At least that's our past experience. Okay, so that was all that I had found for $10 at the bins. Okay, so I just spent a pretty long time at Goodwill just to kind of poke around and take my time, kind of was just in the mood for that today. I found some flatware. I'll show you when I get home. Again, I'll put that clip in here now, but or after I finish talking. But overall, I got my kids some clothes, one piece of clothing to resell, and a few little odds and ends. So like I said, I'll show you when I get back, but just kind of relaxing. Nothing super exciting there at the Goodwill today. I think I'll hit one more thrift store and then I'll head home. So as far as clothes to flip on Goodwill, on eBay from Goodwill, the only thing I picked up was this LL Bean. It's a women's 3X flannel, zip flannel, and I did see some comps for about $30, so I will take that. It was $6.99 minus the 20% coupon that I had. And again, just wanted to pop in to say that LL Bean flannel has already sold. So I know you're watching this a few days after I filmed, but in there we got some of the clothing listed. And so once it was on eBay, cross-posted it with Nifty over to Poshmark, and within minutes I got an offer on Poshmark. I countered and it ended up selling for $32. So I was completely happy with that super quick flip. Like I said, I got my boys some stuff. I got this heavy duty Old Spice mug. We've sold these before, you know, just kind of a bread and butter type thing. Oh, here's the other piece of, it's Italian pottery. It's made in Italy. Anyway, there was a sold on Etsy that I have to research a little bit more, but super cute. I'll try to pop that up if I find it. I just grabbed a couple neckties. This one I think was J. Crew, and I just got it because it's paisley. But now I see it's stained pretty bad, so I think I'll end up returning that. That's what I love about Goodwill. I'll always take store credit. This was kind of cool. I found this plate. I just kind of took a chance on this. I didn't try to comp it or anything, but I don't know. Can you see the little kitty cat in there? So it turns out it's like a baby food plate. And the sticker, of course, is pretty much where the writing is, but all I could find was something that said Royal Baby Plate or something like that. So it's a little battered, but I think the patent date on it was like early 1900s. So something that old. I'm not surprised it's beat up. And I will take a chance in just learning more about it and seeing if anybody collects these. And what else? Oh, so another necktie was just kind of a fun one. It's vintage, like 70s, but it's got Disney characters on it. So it's Mickey Mouse by Cervantes. It's nylon. Anyway, 60s or 70s on that one. And then a pair of shoes. It's another pair of Spring Step. But they're super cute. Those might even actually be my size, so I may end up keeping those. And a bag of patterns. I tried to double check that most of them were uncut. And I think there's a few that are cut in there, but I think most of them were okay. And then there was nothing really in the bags of flatware, but then I found this. Okay, so it's a set of Oneida flatware. It's stainless, but with gold accent. As you can see, it was $5.99 minus the 20%. So that's what I found at the Goodwill. Okay, so that last stop, that last thrift store, I only grabbed a couple things. One was this Craftsman bottle cap wrench bottle opener, new with tags. As you can see, I paid $4. And I always check stuff like this. I mean, the quality is really, really good. I was not expecting the result. So I always scan the barcode. You know, if it's super easy like that, why not, right? Turns out they sell for like $50. I could not believe that. So I grabbed that pretty quick. And then the only other thing I grabbed was this piece of clothing. I've talked about this brand before. It's a linen shirt and the brand is called Flax. So as you can see, it's linen, $5, but clothing was half off, so $2.50. And I mean, it's seen its days. Very comfortable. The brand is kind of known for log and look styles. It's just always loose fit, boxy, flowy kind of thing. So anyway, that was not a bad stop. Look at those rays of sunshine and hope. Anyway, we had big storms last night, but the sun is back out today. So I thought before I wrapped up this video, there was one more sale I wanted to try. It's the next day, and I have some other things I have to do today, but I'm slipping out to go check this sale. It's possible it's the same place I got the Clyban stuff, the Clyban cat stuff last year, but it's just in that same general vicinity. So we'll see if it ends up being what I think it is. And if I find anything good this year, and I will report back one way or the other. Okay, so yes, that was the same place that I got the Clyban stuff last year. And I don't know, they're right next door. I think I mentioned this last year. They're right next door to an antique vintage store. And so I don't know if this is just like they clearance things out or whatever, but a lot of this stuff was the same stuff as last year. So it's just like it's set up in there. So I don't know if it's like their overflow, or they clearance things out, or I'm not quite sure the story on that. But anyway, I could have spent a lot of money, but I was trying to be careful because I do know I have a bunch of vintage stuff in my house, in my garage waiting to be listed. So I don't necessarily have to, you know, just get stuff that will sell someday maybe. But let me just show you a few things I picked up. Okay, so I saw this little pouch thing, and it turns out when I opened it up, I was not expecting to see a carving set. I can't really get the whole thing out right now, but I got this carving set. I think it is Arthur's Psalm, S-A-L-M. Sorry, I had to stop. It got kind of busy. Yes, so I just saw the people who were running that sale come over and unlock the antique store, so they are connected. Anyway, I know what you're looking at. You're looking at more Clyban stuff that I found. So I found these party like napkins, paper plates, a bunch of cups, and then look, I did find a couple more. San Diego, and this one says cheers. It matches that napkin. Anyway, more Clyban, and then I found myself a purse. I think it's for myself, and I think that was it. There might have been, oh, a little spoon rest. It's just a mid-century pattern, but I think it's just a little spoon rest. It was super cute. So anywho, just fun poking around. It's just nice to see a lot of vintage in one place. You know, a lot of the stuff there was just collectibles, like it was just modern, like collectible type things, but other vintage stuff too. So that was kind of fun. Anyway, okay, I think that wraps up this video. I will edit it. I will add any kind of information I find about the things I find. And I hope you guys are having a great weekend.